everyone, and welcome to Pulse Social Sports Group. My name is Aniqa, and today I'm talking with Seth Amoafo about PASS. Hi Seth, would you like to tell us a little bit about your organisation and the amazing work it does?
Aniqa, the company is called the Proactive Soccer School, or PASS for short. We're essentially a community program that uses football as a vehicle to develop young people to be the best that they can be. We have a variety of programs that suits all abilities and all interests, from our recreational program from 2 to 12-year-olds, and then we have our competitive program from under 6 to under 15s, and then in the middle there we have our development programs. So whether you as a parent want somewhere for your kid to come and enjoy football for an hour a week just to get some fitness and some fun and develop, or you are more serious and you want your child to play football at a more serious level 2-3 times a week, and also play in the league, we do all that. We also run the biggest league in the UAE, the Mubarak Community League. So that's also a pathway for all our kids. So across the board,
there's something for everyone. And then amazing work that you do with the community, and especially with your aim, which is that every student coming through PASS should have a good time, should have great memories. Yeah, and that's what you said is most important to you.
Yeah, it's a simple vision. Our vision is very, very simple. We don't have aspirations to say, we want to make a amount of money a year or have a amount of players or whatever. Our vision is very simple. Just, our mission is to make sure that every child that comes with us has the best day, is treated like the first day, and then develop a lifelong love of sport. And then our vision is just to make sure that every child that has been through PASS or experienced us leaves us with fond memories. And I think if we can keep that in mind, the rest of the stuff will be easier. So everything we're doing is to make sure that we're geared to helping the children develop as human beings above all, and then the football comes, on top of it. You have to look at the child first.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You've chosen to get children started early, and you were talking about the benefits to them starting from the age of 2. Where before the program that you initially worked from, it was from 7 years old.
So, the reason we're getting kids at such a young age is because we feel like, as a company, that our focal point, it's not the sport. We just use the football as a vehicle to develop the kids. So, we've got, teamwork, responsibility, perseverance, hard work, endeavour, all those integrity, all those key values that we want to instill in people is best done at a young age. Once you get children to understand and to believe and to act in the right way at a young age, our responsibility is to help kids be better and to develop kids to be better humans and better. Football's not as important. It's just a vehicle to be able to teach and to be able to develop the whole child.
Like what you're saying is you learn a lot of skills through joining at a young age, and that's not necessarily football. It might even be learning what's right, what's wrong, how you can move your body. So it's more about that.
Yeah, and it's also, it's not even the physical aspect more. It's more the kind of mental and psychological aspect. Like I said, following instructions, working together, the social aspect of it all, learning to win, learning to lose. All these in the communication aspect. And for us, when we are hiring staff, we want to find the best people, not the best coaches. We would rather have a coach who can really connect with a child, a coach that understands the right questions to ask, a coach that the kids love to play for, above a coach that knows all the sessions and knows everything but isn't a good person. So I would rather have an amazing person and an okay coach than an okay person and an amazing coach. So it's all about the people, really.
It sounds like, honestly, something that kids would love, because if you're growing up and you're developing these skills from such a young age, and mentally you're feeling like you're better equipped basically later on to deal with problems and issues that might come up in your life. So
that's exactly it.
Are there any particular problems that you have faced that are in direct relation to the region that you're working in? So something that might not occur in the UK, but you've had to deal with because your program is in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, without being too political, too controversial, I think governance is a big issue. Whereas in the UK, you've got the FA, you've got various county councils or sports councils that kind of manage certain areas. In the UAE, there isn't so much of that. It's a bit of a kind of wild west without much information from the top, if you like. So it's worked out that, in Abu Dhabi, many football and sports organisations are doing things for the right reasons. But it also allows for people that might not necessarily be in it for the right reasons, or might not necessarily be adopting the right practices. When you talk about child protection, when you talk about safeguarding issues, or even coach qualifications, people can easily set up a football academy and start coaching and start getting kids in without much regulation, which I think can be a problem down the line. The COVID issue recently is another, I think that brings up to line, because whereas, for example, you come to the UK and there's policies in place and there's steps to get things moving. In the UAE, there isn't so much of that, and there's this massive disparity between what's going on in Dubai, Abu Dhabi. People kind of not know what to do, and then some sports are fine, some sports are not fine. That's the biggest frustration, I think, to really get things moving as such. But I guess UAE is a new country; it's only 42 years old.
Yeah.
So they're still learning, still picking up things. So it's just one of those things you have to just deal with and make the best of.
Yeah, it sounds like hopefully trying to find the right time, basically, and get you guys back on track. Hopefully that'll be soon, because I imagine the kids must miss it a lot right now as well.
Not just kids, parents, coaches, everyone's desperate for some sport. You know what I mean? Individual sports are fine, but everyone's desperate for some team sports that gets everyone out and things pick up soon.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed there's a very big eating culture there. So I imagine doing sports and physical activity, especially having it being a regular part of your life, must be a big, relief health-wise for parents that their kids are doing this as well, and they get a chance to do that. So having that cut off is going to have a negative effect on their health.
Massively. Health, mental, everything. And we know about the obesity. So, especially the older kids, the 11 to 12-year-olds who are kind of hitting that puberty time and their bodies are changing and not being able to do regular activities. Some kids before the lockdown were doing, 3 or 4 hours of training a week plus matches, just in football, and then they were doing swimming and rugby and everything, and then suddenly stops. So the impact from going all out to nothing is huge, and we won't know how big it is until maybe a few years down the line. But from what we were just desperate to get back to normality.
Would you tell me a little bit about the Mubarak League? I'm sorry if I'm butchering the pronunciation here.
No, you got it right. Yeah.
Just tell me why you joined it and how it helps you playing football in the region.
Well, that's it's something that once again we set up, and once again, it was something that I thought was needed. So we did something about it, basically. And it was 2015. It's about the time when PAS had the teams are traveling to Dubai every week to play, and I thought it's silly. I thought it didn't make any sense why teams would leave Abu Dhabi to go to Dubai to play, to travel an hour, 45 minutes to play a game and come back. So I got a few like-minded coaches together, and I said, look, it doesn't make sense. It's a proposal. I'll set up a league. We can all play in and set up something that would benefit our Abu Dhabi kids and also make it easier for our parents. They're happy to do it, so we set it up. It was originally called the Abu Dhabi Youth League. It started in 2015, and we started with about 35 teams. And then what we did was, we're looking at how we can develop the players. So the first part was just Abu Dhabi teams, but then I contacted the equivalent league in Dubai and said, look, let's give our kids the next level. So our top players, our top team, at the end of the season, and let's play our guys against your guys, have a Dubai against Abu Dhabi kind of clash. It was quite successful, because then that gave the next level of competition to the better players and the better teams. Yeah.
So I think what you're saying with the league and Mubarak, I think it was you just taking the initiative, reaching out to all the organizations and making something bigger come out of it for the kids. So competitive wise, they've got more to play for.
Basically, that's it. And we kind of took the next level. So we did that. So we had the Champions Cup between the top 2 from each age group in Abu Dhabi against top 2 from each age group in Dubai. That was the end of the season. We did that twice. And then we took the next level where we got the best players from all the teams in Abu Dhabi together. We call them the representative team. And then we trained them for 6 months, and then we took them abroad. So we've taken them to the Gothia Cup twice in Sweden, under 12s, under 10s. And this year we were going to take them to Barcelona for the Barcelona Cup before COVID hit. So it's the next level. So it's always like, okay, we've got the league here, and we've got the Champions Cup for those teams that are stronger, and then we've got the representative team for those players that are really strong, so bring everyone together. So it's a layers that, and it's all been just organic in terms of the fact that we've kind of just looked at it and said, okay, well, what's the next step?
Yeah.
What's the next step? And then Mubadala came in. Mubadala is basically one of the biggest companies in the UAE. It's the chairman is His Excellency Khalid Mubarak, who owns Man City. So I saw him at one of our Champions Cup games, and I just went to, he's a really nice guy, he's really approachable. I kind of told him what we're doing in the league, and he said, okay, it's quite interesting. I'll get someone to contact you. Later, someone from the company got in touch, and then they came on board as a main sponsor of the league, which is a big thing for us because they're a huge company, and it kind of vindicates the effort that we put in. And we've been going from strength to strength, really, going from 35 teams down to 95 teams, plus the Champions Cup, and obviously the rep team stuff. So we're progressing year on year to make it as good a league as possible for the kids.
Congrats to your team for putting that forward.
Yeah, I've been lucky that things have kind of worked out, but it's just, like I say, I was saying earlier about the fact that the lack of governance is a hindrance. It can also be a positive because it's so new, you can always set your own pathway, and do things your way, and that's what we've been doing, and it's worked out so well. So it's worked out well so far. Yeah,
it just needs to carry on. Hopefully, once COVID is on the decline or things are more settled and we're more sure of how to move forward, what steps to take, I feel like PASS will be ready to just get back in there.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Has PASS helped disadvantaged communities in getting easy access to sports? Because like what you were saying earlier, a lot of academies necessarily aren't what we would call would be up to standards, and then sometimes it's a lot of money. So when it comes to those coming from disadvantaged communities, what does PASS do to help those children and those families?
I think for us, we're very inclusive. I believe that there's a place for everyone. Through all our programs, from our 2-year-old recreational programs, development programs, competitive programs to the league, there's always a path for everyone, and we've always maintained that. I like to. We want the kids to enjoy sport and develop this lifelong love of sport, and we want to make sure that every child in our program is treated like my own child or my own children. We want the coaches to be able to do that. And so there's something for everyone. And then we'll talk about disadvantaged kids. We've got a big thing with Special Olympics UAE, where we do a lot of programs with their kids who are intellectually disadvantaged. We call them people of determination or special needs, physical and intellectual. We worked with them closely. Even now we've got an online program for the kids. We look at the fact that not everyone can have the access to turn up to play football, in a public sphere, whatever. The people that need extra help, and we're always keen to provide staff to do that. We were lucky enough to have the right people that can support what we're doing. And I was working for Special Olympics myself for 2 years when it came to Abu Dhabi from 2017 to 2019, when the event came to Abu Dhabi, and that gave me a real insight, and it kind of developed my passion to do more for that generation of kids. So we're doing a lot for that. We're quite big on women's football as well. We try and get girls playing as much as possible, give them discounts and scholarships, or give a specific girls program for those that want to play with girls, or those that want to play with boys can play with a boys team. They can play in the leagues.
In the UK, we definitely have a difference in the number of hours girls play sports compared to the number of hours boys play sports. So would you say that difference is in Abu Dhabi as well? And is it higher, or did you find, because you're someone who worked in both places, or is it to the same level?
I think there's probably more of a drive to get girls playing football in the UK. In the UAE, of course, you've got cultural differences, and and you've got the expat kind of mentality, and also girls kind of branch off on it. But once they hit 12, 13, very few girls want to keep playing football because they want to play netball or whatever, which is fine. But what we're trying to do at PASS is basically give girls that want to play a platform to play from the ages. They mix up with the boys at a young age, and then as they get older, they can branch off of that. And then, we've got the league, so we've got a girls section of the league, or they can play in the boys section, but the year lower. For example, the under 12 girls can play in the under 10 boys league. So there's opportunities for them to play around, to do whatever they need to do. And then we also do some stuff with, obviously I'm from Ghana, so I'm quite close to my roots still. So we go back regularly. We've got a team in Ghana that we support with equipment and training. When I go back, do some coaching sessions. And we've also just linked up with Aquaba Volunteers, which is a registered charity in Ghana that provides a lot of volunteering opportunities and also opportunities for kids to play sport and to develop. So working with them quite a bit, alongside Future Stars Charity, which is a charity that's spearheaded by Titus Bramble. They play for Newcastle and Ipswich. they do a lot of work for Aquaba volunteers in Ghana by providing equipment as well. So we're trying to do as much as we can. So not just looking at Abu Dhabi, but we're looking at how we can support the disadvantaged in other parts of the country. And Ghana was the easy one because I'm from there. I'll go there every year anyway, so it's just a nice link. We're kind of doing more.
It's always nice if you have a personal connection. You care more about it, so you want to do this for it anyway. So obviously, if this gives you an opportunity to help them out, and of course you're going to do your best for it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're doing. So basically, we just look at the fact that we've got responsibility. We're not just here to to teach the kids, take the money, and go home. I feel like we've got a responsibility to every child we work with. And we've got a responsibility to help society and help humanity. So whenever we can, however we can, whether it's people with special needs or people in less deprived areas or people who are the kind of minority areas in minority groups in the area, we will always try and do whatever we can to support that group.
I'm so glad to see that PALS is able to do that on a global level. You've got connections in different countries, and that's great.
Yeah.
We touched on this lightly a little bit, but with the increase in sugary diets globally and the biggest threats to young children now coming from obesity, I read this in the research. In the older generation, there was heart attacks and diabetes, like the big thing that adults had to worry about. But with children, it's going to start in obesity, and then obviously that's going to lead to all sorts of major illnesses that they'll have to deal with, possibly at a younger age than the generation before them. How vital are sports activity from a young age, and what steps can we take to ensure they continue to have a healthy lifestyle?
I think we all have a responsibility, and we're not just talking about the football organisations or the sporting organisations. I think when it comes to nutrition and lifestyle, it comes from the home. What do parents feed their kids? And also what attitude do parents have when it comes to sport? Are parents happy to get up early on a Saturday morning? Obviously Friday's a holiday here, but are they happy to get up, early morning on their days off to take their kids to sport? Are they going to take the kids out, when they've got a time, when they've got a bit of a break to go and play some sport or to run around, to go to the park? I think that helps with nutrition and diet and having that mindset, because I think especially with kids, if you start them off enjoying sport and enjoying and understanding what it takes to be healthy, that will carry on through the whole lives, and and it makes it easier for you as you get older. And as a parent, when the kids hit 15, 16, 17, and they might see alcohol or drugs or whatever, if they've had a big sporting background, the likelihood of that is less, because they'll be too busy playing sport to be able to to go out on a Saturday night and get drunk or whatever, or and that kind of stuff. So
they're more interested in going to their clubs then on Saturdays and playing in the clubs rather than killing time somewhere else.
I think it's a role model situation, because sometimes we kind of moan that a lot of parents put it onto the coaches to develop this, but at the end of the day, the coach will see the kids maybe 4 or 5 hours a week. That's it. 168 hours in a week. The rest of it is the parent sees that child more than anyone else does. So if it doesn't start from home, if the attitude is not inbred or instilled at home, it's very, very difficult for the coach to be able to affect that. Obviously, we've got responsibility, and we do what we can do. We'll do everything we can to make sure we set a good example.
But you can't work magic. It has to be like a combined effort coming from 100%. All sides.
100%, and that's what it is. And if you can do that, if the parents and the sports coaches can all have that same mindset and work together, then I think the obesity problem, the nutrition problem, and everything else can be kind of minimized.
Hopefully they have more information basically, and they realize more and more how bigger their impact is. It's not just about feeding your child and getting them to school anymore. It's about like you're saying, an example, so they can see, my parents do some physical activity, and even getting your kids to join with you. That could be even you're bonding with your kids in a way. And at the same time showing them the way to go about it, that you have to fit this in part of your schedule. I think it has to be there.
It does, and I think parents have to make that extra effort. It's very easy to kind of sit back and lie in bed, or you can't be bothered to get up in the morning, or watch TV or something. But I think as a parent, if we don't put that effort in to get our kids, doing the right thing, and education is a lot better now. We know more. As parents, we know more. The society's changed. We're kind of more aware of health and fitness. I think if we can do that and show that effort with the kids, I think we hope that the kids will pick that up and they'll take it on to even bigger levels than we can.
Yeah, nice.
But it's all down to parents.
Yeah.
I'm a parent. I've got 2 kids myself, and I'm exactly the same. Whenever the opportunity comes, I'll take my kids out or do something, because I feel like all parents need to do that for the kids, and then the coaches can support that alongside it. But it must start from home.
Absolutely. And these days, I think it should be easy, because we've got so many different ways we can do it. You could even go for a hike, you could go for a swim, you could go for a walk or a run.
Yeah.
So the choices are endless. And I feel like if something is not your thing or doesn't work for your family, try something else. There is so much.
And that's it, especially in the UK. I mean, here, there's a lot of sport is free or easy or or cheaper. So cost is not as prohibitive per se, as it might be in the UAE, for example. But in the UAE, the disposable income is also higher, so it's quite similar in terms of the disparity of cost or whatever. But I mean, I'm just very strong about the fact that I think coaches can only do so much. The parents must start. And I want to say parent, I'll talk about myself as well, that we must all do our bit, do more than our bit, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I agree with everything you're saying. And actually, research has proven that what you're saying is the way for it to work going forward. So hopefully parents will also be thinking along the same lines as us and following this and trying to do that for their kids.
Hopefully, yeah.
We've touched on this slightly before as well with COVID and the effect that it had on past organisation. Do you have any plans at the moment? Because you were saying the government is a bit unclear on what's going on, and different regions have very different plans in place. Do you know how PASS is going to handle this going forward? Have you got any plans in place yet, or are you waiting for anything further?
Well, we're ready. I mean, it's been difficult. Obviously, we haven't had any football since March. So as a company, we've kind of struggled. But what we've done is we've turned it around a little bit. We've used this time to almost just reflect on what's been going on for the last 10 years and kind of look at what we've done well, what we need to do well. So we've talked a lot to our coaches, our full-time and part-time staff, in getting our values across and finding out what they believe the company is all about. So we've kind of aligned our values a lot more now with the time that we've had, because usually once the season starts, we don't really have much time because it's all kind of go. So this has been a blessing in a way. It's given us time to plan and prepare. And we've also managed to, we've got everything ready. We've got our procedures ready, based upon the government guidance that we've got. We've done everything we need to do. And so on that side, we're fine, ready to go. And we've also tried to keep our players engaged. We've run a really positive Euro 2020 skills competition. Obviously there was no Euro 2020, but we sent out invites to kids all around the world. They all selected a team, and then they played off against each other by doing certain skills and videoing it, and then we judged it. We counted what they had to do. We ended up having like a knockout. We had groups, knockouts, and then winners, and then we sent the prizes off to the winners. So actually,
my next question was going to lead into this, was because in the UK, a lot of gyms and organisations have started doing online sessions, and I was going to say, is that something PASS considered? And I can see that you've already kind of put that initiative out there with this competition.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of that. It's more engagement, because for me the online learning, especially when it comes to UAE, was more kind of let's kind of make some money to offset the money that we haven't made. So we didn't go down that route. We just said, look, let's leave it online for now. Let's just find ways to engage our kids and keep them active rather than charging them for it. Let's just put the effort and the time that we've got in doing something for the players. So the Euro 2020 competition was an idea about our early years coach, Mary. The fantastic idea. She put so much effort into it, and it was brilliant because we managed to get so many kids from all around the world, Switzerland, South Africa, Ghana, obviously UK and UAE, all involved in this competition from 6 to 14-year-olds. So we've done that, we're doing a Special Olympics online program with them now. So there's also a step competition where we're trying to get people in the UAE to walk 52 million steps in 10 days. So we've started that to get our kids engaged again. So whenever there's something going on, or whenever we feel like we can leverage our players to get involved, to keep them active, and also just to show that, it's okay. We're not playing football, but we're still here to support you in other ways.
And what I love about all of these ideas that you mentioned, they're all very community based. It's all about kids having fun, but you don't feel like your own, because there's other kids that are doing this as well. So
and I said, like I said, you know, community is a big word in what we're doing. You know, where we want to be. You know, I want to basically kind of transfer the community element of sport in the UK to the UAE, where, you know, parents would come in, everyone knows each other, you know, everyone had fun, you know, you all play together. You know, it's competitive and it's serious, but it's also fun. You know, it's also a team. We're all one big team. We're all here for the right reason, and the community aspect is very, very important for us. That we're trying to do things that's very inclusive and gets everyone involved. And that's the bottom line. Everything we're trying to do, really.
Pass sounds like an amazing thing. I wish I had something like this growing up, honestly.
Nice. Great.
This sounds amazing. Everyone should be doing something like this. So that's great. I'm really excited to see Pass grow further. You know, take us all over the UAE, hopefully, and then the leagues can just keep on growing and growing.
Hopefully. That's the plan.
That's great. Thank you so much for your time.
No